Hello, friends, and welcome to the second episode of Dulcius Ex Asperus, news for people who don't like news. Who am I? I'm just a girl in the world, and sometimes, honestly, I'd rather not be. I summarize some of this week's biggest stories so you don't have to read them, unless you want to. A sincere thank you to everyone who watched the first video. I'm probably the only person who would get excited about 7 views on their YouTube channel, but I'm grateful for every single one. Last week, we discussed the people President-elect Trump was choosing to fill his cabinet. Do you remember Matt Gaetz? The guy who was being investigated for having sex with a minor and was somehow supposed to be Attorney General? Turns out the Republican Party did have a line they weren't willing to cross, and Matt Gaetz withdrew his candidacy. Now we have a new candidate with her own scandal. In 2017, that scandal was enough to kill her nomination. But in 2024, apparently not. The scandal is very Trumpian, typical of the conflicts of interest we've seen within his inner circle. In September of 2013, Pam Bondi was the Florida Attorney General. At the same time, Trump University, which is actually an exaggerated real estate seminar, was being investigated for fraud. Pam Bondi announced that Florida might join the lawsuit against Trump University. And then, a funny thing happened. The Trump Foundation wrote a $25,000 check to And Justice for All, a group supporting Pam Bondi's re-election campaign. This donation had been personally solicited by Pam Bondi. And then she decided that Florida wouldn't join the lawsuit against Trump University after all. She denies that the $25,000 payment had anything to do with this decision. And this is a scandal within a scandal, really, as Trumpian scandals often are. The Trump Foundation wasn't actually allowed to give political donations, and also, the Trump Foundation was later forced to shut down because Trump admitted that he used the foundation to bolster his campaign and to settle business debts. There was good news in the 2024 election. Yes, seriously. Across the United States, 32 candidates supported by Emily's List won their races. If we narrow that down to swing states, 61% of Emily's List candidates won their elections. Here you see the faces of 32 women who can speak to women's issues on the national stage, which is good for everyone who has women in their life that they care about. If we zoom out a little more, we can see that progress state by state. Several states that had been dominated by a conservative perspective now are competitive, and 3 states will even have a woman-majority legislature in 2025. Despite all the news and the very real concerns, there are signs of progress. Some things have changed for the better, even if it doesn't feel like it. I'm just going to quote Ezra Levin here, because I couldn't say it better myself. At this point in 2016, we didn't have an indivisible movement or organization. We didn't have any real ties to the pro-democracy world of brilliant thinkers, researchers, and doers. We didn't have a professional, indivisible national team of expert organizers, policy wonks, digital mavens, and technical wizards. Yes, some things have gotten worse. The other side is more unified, prepared, and determined. What they're planning to do is even scarier than last time. But we've also grown. We've also become better prepared. We are also determined from the get-go to fight for every inch. These are thoughts I'm sharing with you, because this is what I need to remind myself of daily. Activism, big or small, matters, even when it feels like it doesn't. Politicians are always thinking about electability. What policies will be popular with the people in my district, or state, or city, or county? And politicians will respond to that pressure if their constituents make it clear what they want. Even Republican states can have policies that look very democratic. When the right development project is there, What's good for the environment can be good for business and local jobs. In one of the weirdest ironies from this last election, Trump won the election in spite of his policies, not because of them. His platform just isn't that popular. As psychoanalysts aside, this means there are lots of opportunities for motivated citizens to push progressive policies at the local level. Maybe even you. And that local good deed doesn't have to be a big commitment. It could be as simple as supporting a friend who's struggling, or if you're the one who's feeling stuck, having coffee with a friend so you can share and reflect with each other. For people who are gay or transgender, or not white, or not male, many of the next administration's policies are personal. Having a friend who acknowledges that reality can help make a difficult situation survivable. If you are looking to get more involved with activism, you could find or start a local indivisible group. Remember that no one individual is going to save the world. You can't solve every problem you see. You might be better served by picking an issue to focus on and organize around. Your local school board, maybe, or a local city meeting about where to build housing. Or maybe your contribution to the world this week is keeping your own household afloat. That's okay too. Until next time, take care of each other.